Yo, day 28, Proverbs 28. Let's go. We're reading one Proverbs a day for the month of February. That way, at the end of the month, you can say that you finished Proverbs. All right. So, Proverbs 28. So, the first 5 verses are going to be titled "The Poor Oppresses the Poor." And then we're just going to get straight into it. It looks like it's about 28 verses, and I got a couple side notes as well after the verses I want to highlight. Let's go. All right, let's get straight into it. Verse 1. It's going to be titled, "The Poor Oppresses the Poor. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. For the transgression of a land are the many princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge the state thereof shall be prolonged. A poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaveth no food. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things." All right, so from verse 6 to verse 9, it's going to be titled, "The Companion of Riotous Men. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion to riotous men shameth his father. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination." Gosh. All right, so from verse 10 to verse 17 is going to be titled, "Glory when righteous men rejoice." Verse 10. "Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit. But the upright shall have good things in possession. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. The righteous man do rejoice, there is a great glory, but when the wicked rise, a man is hidden." This is a verse that I also wanted to highlight, verse 13. "He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsake them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is the wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that wanteth understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him." All right, so from verse 18 to 28, the rest of the verses is going to be titled, "Blessings on the Faithful Man." "Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his way shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not the poverty shall come upon him. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find more favor than he that flattereth with his tongue. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother, and saith, It is no transgression, the same is the company of a destroyer. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many curses. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase." All right, so again, a lot of wisdom, a lot of nuggets sprinkled throughout this. I'm going to go and read basically single verses that I thought were bangers that speak for themselves that I have highlighted throughout the verses. Some will explain, some we won't, and then some will follow up with the notes that I have from previously studying this. All right, let's get into it. The first verse that I wanted to highlight was actually going to be verse 1. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. So it's just telling you that the wicked flee. I think that one kind of speaks for itself. So the wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. So they're just saying that the wicked flee and the bold stay strong. They stand tall. The second verse that I wanted to highlight is going to be verse 5. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Speaks for itself. That's a nice verse. The next one, verse 6. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. I know that's a little bit tough. That's honestly, it's pretty tough, because what I've heard, at least about this, and this is something I need to take to God so that way I can just kind of clear it up. But from my understanding, he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, so the law, the commandments, even his prayer shall be an abomination. So with that being said, I feel like I get what it's saying. It's saying that if you're praying to the Lord and then yet you turn around and you're still doing your thing, then how can he close the door if you're standing in the middle of the door? I get that. But however, I also think that as you continue to give it to God, that he will take it out of your life in his timing. So, that's a little bit hard of a verse to understand, but I do think that it's good to know that verse. All right, the next two verses that I want to highlight is going to be 13 and 14. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoever so confesseth and forsake them shall have mercy. So it's telling you, don't cover your sins. Maybe not vent, don't overshare, but there are people, your community, your pastor, people that are within your community group that you can share with, that can help you keep accountable, that you can tell them. And then, of course, from that point, ask for forgiveness, and God will forgive you. He's a very merciful and graceful God. But he also does not stand for mocking. So we will all be judged at one point or another. All right, so the next one is going to be verse 18. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. Damn. Verse 20. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. And I feel like that speaks for itself. There's three more verses I want to read, and it's going to be 25, 26, and 27. And then I'll get into some notes. So 25. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. And 26. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoever so walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. And then the very last one that I wanted to share is 27. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. So with those three verses, the person that is of a proud heart will do anything to stir up the strife. Will basically do anything to get that glory, do anything to be the center of attention, or just to make sure that everything comes back on them. But when it says that he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat, so necessarily made fat as in healthy, riches, will be full of the Lord's love, mercy, and grace. So in a way, I think it kind of speaks for itself. The next one, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool. We know that in the verse in Jeremiah, how it says that our heart is deceitful above all things, desperately wicked, who can know it? So we don't know that our heart is wicked, only God knows. But he says, he that trusteth in his own heart is a fool. So he's already calling us a fool. But whoever so walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. So if you walk wisely with what's presented, to us, the word, and having that relationship with God, you will be delivered. And in the last verse, he that giveth unto the poor shall not lack. So that speaks for itself. Someone that returns back to the poor, someone that is constantly feeding and drinking and clothing the poor and is not worried about, oh, well, this money's supposed to go to rent, or this money was supposed to buy so-and-so a gift, etc. You know, there's people really going through it. So it says that the poor, he that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes. So you hide your eyes away from the poor and in a way make it seem that it's like, oh, that's normal. Like you're making it seem like that's normal. You're making it seem like it's okay and that you don't need to help. Then it says that he that hideth his eyes shall have many curses. So, I mean, that speaks for itself. But now let's get into the notes that I had. So for the first verse, I actually put on here, be bold and stand strong for God. Trust God. We rather be poor and honest than be rich and wicked. The second thing I wanted to talk about was actually going to be in alignment with verse 6 and 9. It says agreement between lips and lifestyle. So he that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even in his prayers, shall be an abomination. So just having an agreement between what you pray and the way that you live. Be of a good character. For 13 and 14, it's going to be God already knows. Be honest in our prayers. He can handle the real feelings and emotions that we have. He wants us to be real. He wants us to have a relationship. Why hide anything from him that he already knows? Repent and receive him. For verse 18, it's talking about being patient, that not to want riches, very, very quick. It's like that saying that anything that happens very quick usually goes down very quick as well. For verse 20, it says, be faithful and not willing to get rich quick. Do not be greedy. Trust God, not money. And then for 25, 26, and 27, it's just, again, just be humble and be teachable. It's better to be righteous than wicked. Alrighty, guys. Well, if you stayed this long, God bless y'all. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great weekend and a great Saturday. Stay tuned for tomorrow, Proverbs 29 on a Sunday. Let's go. Peace.